Hey, what's up guys? I'm vortac, back once again with another refined storage tutorial. Today, it's all about autocrafting. If you didn't catch the last refined storage video on when we set all of this stuff up, be sure to go check that out in the description down below, or I'll link it in a card. And today we're gonna be going a little bit more advanced. It's all about autocrafting, and there are 3 different methods I like to use. I'm gonna go over all 3 with you. So I have a few items already in my system between the hard drive and the storage drawers here, and then down here I have a couple of furnaces set up to help us, and then from what the last video, what we set up before, just an external storage on these so we can see all the iron and everything in there. I'm going to show you first how to use the crafter, which is a block you'll need to make from Refined Storage. If I type in @refined, we can see all the different blocks here, and you'll need to find yourself a crafter, and I'll show you the recipe for it. It's at the bottom here. If we hit R, you need these processors and some quartz-enriched iron. All of these objects are things we can autocraft. We can actually autocraft crafters, but I don't really need to do that. I'm going to start simple. Let's autocraft these processors. These processors are used in all kinds of recipes in Refined Storage, and they require a few different things. Processor binding, which is just slime and string, pretty easy to make. You get 8 of them. They require iron ingots, redstone, and silicone, which is actually just cooked nether quartz in this case. So all these mod packs will also have different, recipes and different ways to do things, but since this one is so basic, that's what we're dealing with right now. I want to craft up these basic processors. Now I've already put the necessary materials in here. At the top you'll see them, and I can make this really simple just at first, but I'm going to get more and more advanced as we go. So I have here a pattern grid. It's very similar to the regular grid. In fact, all of our items are here. We can pull them out and everything, but the crafting table doesn't work in here like it does in here. You'll notice these extra buttons down here. So what we're gonna do is make patterns. That's what this is for. So if I put my cursor over something I want, like the raw basic processor, and hit R for recipe, and it shows me the recipe from JEI, and I hit this plus sign, it puts everything right here and shows us what it's going to make. But I can't grab this. If I click on it, nothing happens. I need to hit create, and it'll give me a pattern. And if I put that pattern in my inventory, and oops, there we go, and I hold shift, you can see it goes from pattern to processor. This is just for a quick glance, so if you have a whole bunch of patterns on you can see what the heck you're doing. So I'm going to do one for the next level of processor, and then the advanced one as well. There we go. And if I go to my inventory and hit shift, they're all there. After you have all the processors or whatever patterns you're trying to craft, you'll need a crafter, and you'll simply put them in the crafter just like that. You'll notice there are not a lot of slots here, but it's okay. If you run out, simply make another crafter and throw it onto your system. Now, what we're gonna do next is pretty cool. You'll see you have all of the processors here represented as if it's part of your storage, except they all say craft under them. And to make this a little bit easier to see, I recommend going into display and toggling it to only craftables. And that'll make it so your crafting grid, or your regular grid, sorry, shows everything in your system. You can even set this to no craftables. And these 2 grids now look a lot different. I recommend doing it this way just to keep things organized. And what we can do with all the supplies we already have is hit craft and tell it how many do we want? I want 10 raw basic processors. We're gonna hit start. And then if we sit and watch it for a second, I think I found a bug with Refined Storage. It was weird. It wasn't crafting the processors after I hit the button. I was just kind of staring at it for a minute. And then when I toggled it back to normal, here are my 10 processors. Well, it works. It's just not what I expected. In any case, it crafted 10 processors for us, which is really handy. We can do this with the gold ones as well. So if I hit start, and there we go. That's what I was looking for. You can watch it tick up to 10. And there are even upgrades. We can add these speed upgrades. I'll just grab a stack of them right now, and we can throw them in here on the side. And then if I craft the next processor and make 10 of those, you'll notice it goes, boom, almost instantly, 10 processors, so a lot faster. So that is method number 1 for crafting. Now, method number 2 is a little bit different, but this is something you can do without crafters, and you can do it really, really early on. It's actually kind of cool. What we'll need are some importers and exporters, a furnace of your choice. I'm going to use a vanilla Minecraft furnace, and I'm going to grab some ore, some iron ore, and I'm gonna grab some coal. Now, this is kind of like we did. I think I showed this off in the simple storage mod video. I can't remember. I recently did this though. So I have some cables down here, and it's kind of an unfinished network. But I have these importers and exporters. I'm gonna grab one of each, maybe 2 exporters, and I have some furnaces. So here's how this works. What we want to do is set this up so automatically when I come home after a long day of mining, I can throw my iron into the system and it'll start cooking in the furnace immediately without me doing anything, without me pushing any buttons at all. To achieve this, we're going to use importers and exporters. So I'm going to take an exporter rather, and put it at the top of the furnace. Now this is going to make it so things get deposited into the furnace. Now if you know anything about vanilla furnaces, you know that they also need some fuel, and from the side is where you can actually get fuel put into the furnace. And then at the bottom, we're going to put an importer, which will import things the furnace cooks into our crafting system. So we'll just need to hook these up with these cables. So I'll put them here, and then I'll put this here. This is going to get kind of messy. My staircase is actually not going to work the way I thought it would. And as long as all the cables are connected in some form or fashion, this will work. I can even take this one away and hook it up here. It doesn't really matter. But there we go. So this furnace is decked. This is a kind of ridiculous furnace. But we're going to do a couple things now. I'm going to take a piece of coal. And I'm going to take a piece of iron ore. So while in the exporter, I'm going to take a piece of coal and I'm going to put it right here. All right. And in this exporter, I'm going to take whatever ore I want, in this case iron, I'm going to put it there. And you'll notice it's already cooking, and coal is already going into the system, which is very helpful. Now, if you watch the iron cook, it will make the ingot will disappear. Let's put this whole stack. We just came home from mining. I just put a whole stack of ore, and there it goes. You find it disappearing. But if you sit carefully and watch, you'll notice the iron ingot count goes from 45 and starts to increase to 46. I'm actually going to sort this by, how about sorting type ID? I like that. Okay, everything stays in one spot now. So we are auto smelting iron. Simply all I did was come home from mining and put it in the system. So this is another way you can set up auto crafting without actually setting up a crafter. I can also do this with gold, but you know how Minecraft furnaces be. There's only one slot and they're very slow. So if you have a furnace from another mod, I highly recommend using it. So I've shown you how to craft with a crafter block, and I've shown you how to craft without using the crafter block. But now for my third method of auto crafting, we're going to combine the two into one pretty sophisticated system, despite it only being a vanilla Minecraft furnace, the one I'm not using yet. So here's what we need. We need another crafter block, and I don't think I gave myself any, so using cheat mode, I'll just cheat one in real quick. And we're going to take this crafter block, and I'm also going to grab this wrench from Refined Storage. We're going to come down here, and I'm going to take it, I'm going to hold shift, and pop it on. It already is facing where I want it to face. The way I know are these blue dots here. They kind of make this U shape. Think of that as an arrow. If you take the wrench, you can right click, and now it's facing up. And now it's facing to the side. There we go. You want this little eye facing down, because that's going to input items into the furnace, just like we did with this exporter here. So once you have this, and you have this crafter, you'll notice it actually says furnace. So this crafter recognizes only the furnace block right here, which is very important. That's how you know it's working. So we need to make a pattern, but not just any pattern. We need to make a processing pattern, which is going to work a little bit differently. We can't just put processing patterns in a regular crafter and let it do all the work. We need to put it in a crafter that's labeled like this, furnace. It's more of a, we can call it a processing crafter. Let's call it that for argument's sake. And remember the silicone? Well, silicone actually requires nether quartz to make. So what if I came home from mining and I had a bunch of nether quartz, but I didn't have any silicone yet? We can set it up so the auto crafter crafts the silicone for us, which would be great. I think, did I already grab nether quartz or did I screw that up too? Nope, we have some right here. So if I take my nether quartz from, I guess here, because there we go. I'm going to take one nether quartz. I want to just make sure I grab one and put it in the middle here. It doesn't have to be in the middle, so I prefer to do it. And then you'll notice nothing happened. That's because it's a processing pattern. We have to tell it what it's going to do. We need to tell it that one nether quartz is equal to one silicone. And you'll notice when I did that, the little create button actually lit up. So I'm going to hit create. I'm going to get a pattern. Now, this pattern shows us silicone when I hold shift. But again, if we put it in here, it's really not going to work. Processing patterns don't work like that. What we need to do is put it in this crafter. And this crafter is going to make silicone for us. So now, if I come into here and I go into silicone, you'll notice we already have some. All you have to do, I think, is it's Control-Shift-Click. And that's how you get to craft it. I know this is more of a complicated key binding. If you don't have any though, it's really easy to just click craft. But you'll need to remember, it is when you have some already, Shift or Control Shift click. There we go. Even I forget sometimes. I want to make 10 more silicone. We're going to hit start. It's going to show us that we have everything we need. Hit start again. And we come down here and the furnace should, there we go, be loading up the nether quartz. But we forgot one thing. We still need coal. So remember when I said I'm going to combine the two? We're going to put another exporter right here. And we should just, I think just cabling it into the crafter, it puts it in the whole network, right? So there we go. And we can tell this exporter, just like we did before, hey, when you have coal, just put it in here. It only stacks up to 64. I imagine you'll have enough coal to do that. You could get more advanced, I guess, and limit that somehow, but for now, that works. And there's the silicone. And then, of course, for our last trick, we got to come down here. All right, cheated one in. There we go. And now the silicone, just like the other furnace, is being pulled into our system, which is very helpful. So that is really cool, but we're not done yet. The biggest reason this processing pattern is so cool is because what if we put ourselves in a situation where all of our silicone is gone? We don't have any, we've used it all. But all we have is nether quartz, right? We can go mine that out of the nether, we can bring it in here, we have nether quartz. If I want to craft a processor, we already know it requires silicone. I don't have any silicone. But because the system knows how to make silicone, I can still go in here, tell it, I want 10 more processors, please. And even though you saw me throw away the silicone, it's telling us we have everything we need. That's because it's included the nether quartz here. It's like, oh, I don't have any silicone, but I can make some. So off we go. That's the cool part about autocrafting, is it helps you not think so hard about all the different things you're going to need. Now, it's not going to make the processors as fast because first it has to make silicone, and the furnace is already cooking away. It's put our it put exactly 10 quartz in there like we told it to. Another block you may find helpful is the crafting monitor. So if we grab a crafting monitor and stick it anywhere, as long as it's touching one of these blocks, it should work. I'm trying to jump and shift click it on top, but it's not working. Okay, well, that'll technically work, I guess. The crafting monitor is going to tell us what the system is currently working on. So we can see it's scheduled silicone, and it also remembers that we told it to make these processors, and it's stored the items necessary to do it. The crafting monitor is just a helpful tool for as you start kind of making your setup more and more advanced, you're going to kind of want something to keep track of all the different recipes you've queued up. Another very similar block to the crafting monitor is the crafting manager, except what's cool about this is it just gives us an outline of all the different recipes we have, because as you continue using Refined Storage and collecting more things and more recipes, you're going to have a lot of crafters, and you're going to eventually lose track of the different recipes. You can actually pull them in and out of here too. So it's labeled crafter, which is very helpful because this one's labeled furnace. So I know that, oh, this is a pattern on a furnace. Great. And this is just a simple crafter. So these recipes can go wherever they need to go. In fact, they'll still work in the furnace. It's a waste of space. You wouldn't do that. Before I forget, there's one more thing I want to show you about this mod, and that is exact mode, which I think is on by default, but I have a habit of turning it off. Exact mode is really helpful if you're playing a mod pack with a lot of different blocks in it. Let's say you're playing a mod pack where there's 4 different types of ways to make silicone. I've played mod packs with about that many. So cooking nether quartz is one way, but maybe there's another way to get it. Well, exact mode ensures that you only ever use nether quartz to collect silicone. Period. End of story. Because if you turn it off when you make the pattern, it will use whatever it can find to create the silicone that you need, which is actually really, really helpful because a lot of times mod makers like to have multiple ways, mod packs end up having multiple ways to come up with one item. It just happens sometimes. So exact mode can be a huge help to you. I hope you got something out of Refined Storage and Autocrafting. If you did, be sure to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe and let me know in the comments other mods you would like to see me cover next. I will catch you in the next one. See you later.